Home prices in the GTA are down $80,000 from the same time last year. Sales are down, and homes are taking almost 2 months to sell. But here's the strange part. New listings are down even more than the sales. So what's actually happening in the market right now? Now, I know the numbers can be confusing, but in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dilyar Marat, and this is your 2026 February real estate market update for Toronto and Durham region. Now let's zoom out for a minute. We are off to a rough start. There's a war in the Middle East, trade tensions, and tariffs with the US. Canada just reported a negative GDP growth last quarter. We're seeing layoffs and unemployment numbers going up and rising food prices. And when you look at real estate sales, this is the slowest start to a year in almost 2 decades. So roughly for the month of February, there were roughly 3,800 sales in the entire GTA with over 19,000 active listings. So just based on a months of inventory, that puts us in the buyer's market category because that gives us about 5 months of inventory. The average price of a home is down about $80,000 from the same time last year. However, compared to January or last month, the number has actually gone up slightly. So average prices are sitting at just over $1 million right now. And another big change is how long it's actually taking to sell a home. So currently it's taken almost 2 months to sell a property. Now that is a big jump from the same time last year, but there's something you have to understand. Now it's really important to understand the different property types because the freehold market and the condo market are performing very differently. Now, I'm not saying that the freehold market is doing well, but freehold market is doing significantly better compared to condos. For example, it takes a freehold property an average of 30 days to sell, but condos are taking significantly longer. But here's a stat that most people are missing. Yes, sales are down 6% from the same time last year, but new listings are down 17% compared to the same time. So this means new supply is actually dropping faster than the demand. Now, that does not mean the prices will jump, okay? I'm just simply stating an observation based on the stats. Now, if this trend continues for another 4 to 6 months, then I could see this putting, upward pressure on prices. But personally, I don't think real estate prices will go up this year. I think real estate prices will probably go down, if anything. And here's why. Because sellers are hesitant. And that's why you saw the number drop. The new listings went down 17% this year because the market hasn't stabilized. And while a lot of people think it's actually buyers that are hesitant, I like to argue that it's actually sellers. Sellers are not sure if they should list right now or if you should wait a little bit longer and potentially get more money. But that in itself is a problem. You see, if the market doesn't improve and if all the sellers wait on the sidelines, then we may see an influx of new listings in the next few months. And buyers aren't in a rush to buy. And that's why you're seeing the demand is pretty low right now because buyers feel like the market hasn't bottomed out yet. They feel like that if they wait another 3 or 4 or 6 months, they will get a better price. And for the last 3 years, they haven't been wrong. If you've been waiting for the market to drop, then you are correct. The market has been dropping for the last 3 months. So in other words, both sides are waiting each other out, but it's favoring the buyers more so than the sellers. Now, when I talk about averages, you have to understand that this is the average of every single asset class in the GTA. So not everything is moving the same way. For example, freehold properties are doing better than condos, but condo townhouses are doing better than condo apartments, and 2-bedroom condos are doing better than a 1-bedroom or studio. So you really have to be specific if you want to talk about your specific property or your specific situation. Now let's talk about the Durham region. When I pulled the stats, I noticed that homes are actually selling faster in the Durham region. What I saw, according to the data, was that the days on the market here in the Durham region has been going down. So homes are selling faster than before, but there is something important that you have to understand because sellers and listing agents right now are using bidding war as a strategy to sell a property. So they are listing their homes below market value, sometimes aggressively below market value, and set an offer date to get multiple bids or selling it over asking. Now you have to understand that just because a home sells above the asking price in multiple offers, it doesn't necessarily mean that it went above what it's supposed to sell for. it doesn't necessarily mean that it went beyond a true market value. It's just a different strategy of selling, right? So a lot of homes in the Durham region have been, selling with multiple offers because they're getting listed at $499, $599, where they should have been listed in maybe in the high sixes or low 700s, right? And naturally that attracts buyers, and naturally that's going to get you multiple offers. So the reason why that the days on the market in the Durham region has been falling is because people are choosing to sell their house differently with a different pricing strategy. So right now, currently that strategy is working, but we have to see how the next few weeks go. So here's my advice to buyers: listing price doesn't matter. Just because you buy a property below asking doesn't mean you got a good deal. And also if you went in multiple offers and you paid over asking, it doesn't mean that you got ripped off. You always have to look at the comparable sales in the area and come up with an informed decision on the actual market value of that home. Because oftentimes listing price is just part of this strategy. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to give me a like and subscribe because I'm trying my very best to grow this channel. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.